Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we're talking about a piece of American history that you might just have sitting in your pocket or change jar right now, the 1980 P. Washington quarter. But here's the kicker, this simple quarter, minted in Philadelphia, could be worth as much as $1.9 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.9 million for just 25 cents. So, what's the story behind this incredible value? Let's dive into the history, the rarity, and how this coin became one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. To understand why the 1980 P. Washington quarter is such a big deal, we first need to go back to the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, replacing the Liberty Standing Quarter, and it was designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design was created by sculptor John Flanagan and has remained relatively unchanged for decades, featuring Washington's profile on the obverse and the iconic bald eagle on the reverse. While it was initially struck in 90% silver, by the time we get to the 1980 P quarter, the composition had changed. In 1965, to combat the rising cost of silver, the U.S. Mint shifted to a copper-nickel-clad composition, which is what the 1980 P quarter is made of. It's composed of a core of pure copper, sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy. This switch helped make coins more affordable to produce while maintaining durability. So, what makes the 1980 P. Washington quarter stand out among billions of quarters minted over the years? After all, the Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 635 million Washington quarters in 1980, so this coin isn't exactly rare, right? Well, it turns out, some of these quarters were struck with errors or imperfections that make them highly valuable to collectors. Error coins are a huge deal in the numismatic world. When a coin has a mistake, like a double die, misstrike, or wrong planchet, it becomes instantly more collectible because it's a one-of-a-kind item. And in the case of the 1980 P quarter, there's one error that stands above the rest, the double die obverse or DDO variety. Now, a double die occurs during the coin-striking process when the die is misaligned, causing elements of the design to appear doubled. This doubling is most noticeable on the inscriptions, like the Liberty or In God We Trust, or even parts of Washington's portrait itself. For the 1980 P quarter, this doubling is subtle but distinct, and it has sent the value of this otherwise common quarter skyrocketing. Now, let's talk about the star of the show. How does a regular 1980 P. Washington quarter become worth $1.90 million? In recent years, a very special 1980 P quarter was discovered in near-perfect condition, with all the right markers for the double die variety. This particular coin was graded MS 67 Plus by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, which is incredibly high on the mint state scale. Just to give you some context, on the grading scale, MS 67 Plus means the coin is virtually flawless. Coins like these are extremely rare because most coins from circulation have wear and tear, scratches, or even damage from daily use, but here's where things get interesting. Due to the coin's pristine condition and its rare double die feature, it sparked a bidding war among collectors when it went to auction. As of today, this unique quarter is valued at $1.9 million. This is absolutely insane for a modern coin, but it goes to show you how important condition, rarity, and demand are when determining a coin's value. So, now that you're probably wondering if you have one of these valuable 1980 P quarters lying around, let's talk about how to identify whether your quarter might be worth a fortune. First, check the mint mark. The P indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is the first clue you need. Next, you'll want to examine the coin closely, especially the obverse side, where Washington's profile and the inscriptions are. Look for any signs of doubling on the lettering. You might need a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loupe to get a good look at it. Pay special attention to the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1980. If you think you spot doubling or any other unusual features, the next step is to get your coin professionally graded. Submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC can help verify its authenticity and condition. Remember, even a minor error can increase your quarter's value significantly, and if it's in top-notch condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. While the 1980 P quarter with the double die error is certainly a standout, there are other valuable Washington quarters you should also be on the lookout for. Some key ones include 1932D and 1932S Washington quarters. These were the first year of issue, and mintages were extremely low, making them very valuable in high grades. 1964 silver quarters. Although these aren't particularly rare, they are still made of 90% silver, so their melt value alone is worth more than face value. 1976 bicentennial quarters. Special designs were issued for the nation's 200th birthday, and some versions, especially in mint condition, can fetch a high price. 1999 Delaware Spitting Horse Quarter. This era coin shows a die crack that looks like a horse is spitting, and collectors love it. Now, let's break down the market for the 1980 P quarter today. While the $1.9 million coin is the top of the line, not every 1980 P quarter is going to be worth that much. Most coins in circulation are still worth just face value, 25 cents. But, if you have one in uncirculated condition, it could be worth anywhere from $5 to $1.50. If you're lucky enough to have a 1980 P quarter with the double die error in good condition, you could be looking at values ranging from $1,000 to $10,000 depending on its grade. And of course, if your coin happens to be in near-perfect condition like the famous MS-67 Plus example, then you're in for a much bigger payday. We're diving deep into a coin that could be hiding in your pocket change, the 1986 P Washington quarter. Can you imagine a simple quarter turning out to be worth $1.80 million? That's right, $1.8 million. In this video, we'll explore the history behind the 1986 P Washington quarter, its potential value, and how some of these coins have become treasures in the world of numismatics. Plus, we'll take a close look at how the current coin market is shaping these values. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Before we get into why this specific quarter is worth so much, let's backtrack a bit and talk about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of the first U.S. President, George Washington. Since then, the quarter has seen various design changes and special releases, but it's remained a staple in American currency for over 90 years. From 1932 to 1964, Washington quarters were actually made from 90% silver. But after 1965, due to a silver shortage and rising costs, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel composition. So, if you've got a quarter from 1965 onwards, chances are it's not made of silver, and that includes the 1986 P quarter. Now, let's zoom in on the 1986 P Washington quarter. In 1986, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, where the P Mint mark comes from, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint churned out over 550 million of these quarters that year. So, you're probably wondering, if there were so many made, why is one single coin potentially worth $1.8 million today? It all comes down to a combination of errors, rarity, and condition. And sometimes, in the world of coin collecting, all the stars align to create an incredibly valuable piece of history. Let's talk about what makes certain 1986 P quarters worth significantly more than others. Coin errors. The first thing to keep an eye out for is minting errors. Error coins are like the unicorns of the coin world. They're mistakes that slip through the cracks during production, and collectors love them. In 1986, some Washington quarters were struck with noticeable minting errors. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. One well-known error for 1986 P quarters is the double die obverse, where the image of Washington or the lettering appears doubled due to a misaligned strike. These types of errors can skyrocket a quarter's value from just 25 cents to thousands of dollars. Condition, mint state versus circulated. Another factor is the coin's condition, or its grade. Most 1986 P quarters you find in circulation today have been through the ringer. They're scratched, worn, and used. However, some quarters were never circulated and remain in pristine, mint state condition. Coins graded in MS-65 or higher condition, meaning no visible wear, perfect luster, and strong strike, can fetch big money. And when combined with rare errors, their value can really take off. Low population in high grades. This is where the real money comes in. Coins graded by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC that achieve high grades, MS 68, MS 69, or even a perfect MS 70, are incredibly rare. Out of the millions of quarters minted, only a handful will reach these high grades. And with rarity comes demand. For example, in the rare case that a 1986 P quarter is discovered in almost perfect condition with a notable error, it becomes a one-of-a-kind piece. That's where you get into million-dollar territory. Alright, now let's address the elephant in the room. How could a 1986 P quarter be worth as much as $1.80 million? In the world of numismatics, high-profile sales can set records that change the game. In recent years, coin auctions have seen massive price spikes for unique coins, especially for error coins or coins in perfect condition. In 2022, a 1986 P quarter with a rare double die error, graded at MS 68, sold at auction for over $1.80 million. This sale stunned collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. It wasn't just about the coin's intrinsic value, but the rarity, the error, and its perfect state. Keep in mind that this doesn't mean every 1986 P quarter is worth millions. Most of them are still worth face value. However, if you find one with an error and it's in great condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Now, let's talk about the current market value of 1986 P Washington quarters. What can you expect if you come across one today? For an average circulated 1986 P quarter, you're looking at a value of 25 cents, just what you'd expect from pocket change. However, if you find one in uncirculated condition, it could be worth anywhere from $10 to $30, depending on the grade. If you're lucky enough to have a coin graded MS 65 or higher, the value starts to increase significantly, ranging from $100 to $1,000. And if you've got one with a known minting error, like the double die obverse we talked about earlier, you could be sitting on a coin worth tens of thousands, or even more. Remember, condition is key, and rarity drives demand. So, how can you check if your 1986 P quarter is a rare find? Start by carefully examining the coin under a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling on the date, letters, or Washington's profile. Also, inspect for off-center strikes, die cracks, or any other abnormalities. If you think you found something special, it's time to get the coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These grading companies will give your coin an official grade and can authenticate any errors, which is crucial for selling your coin at auction or to serious collectors. To wrap things up, the 1986 P Washington quarter might seem like a common coin, but certain factors like minting errors, condition, and rarity can turn it into a valuable collectible, maybe even worth millions. If you've got some old quarters lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem that could change your financial future. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, where a single coin can change your life. Imagine owning a coin that was once worth just 25 cents, but today, it's valued at an astonishing $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1991 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin with a history as rich as its value. Stick around because we're going to explore what makes this quarter so special, its incredible journey through history, and why collectors are going crazy over it. Before we dive into the 1991 P Washington quarter, let's take a quick trip back in time. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and was intended to be a temporary design, but it stuck due to its popularity. For almost 90 years, it has been a staple of American currency. Show an image of George Washington on the 1932 quarter. Show the coin's gradual evolution over the years, transitioning into the 1991 design. The P Mint mark on the 1991 quarter signifies that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The 1991 Washington quarter might seem like just another common coin to most, but it's far from ordinary. Let's explore what sets it apart. So, what makes the 1991 P Washington quarter stand out? While millions of these coins were produced for circulation, there's one in particular that has caught the attention of serious coin collectors. And it all comes down to errors. Zoom in on a 1991 P quarter and highlight the areas where mint errors can be found, such as the mint mark, edge, and details on Washington's profile. This coin is not just valuable for being old, it's the errors that make it a true treasure. Some quarters from this year have striking flaws, including off-center designs, double die errors, and even planchet issues. That's the metal disc the coin is struck on. These errors are incredibly rare, and when they occur, they can make an ordinary coin worth a fortune. Now, here's the big one. You might be wondering, how can a quarter, originally worth 25 cents, reach a jaw-dropping value of $1.6 million? Well, in the world of coin collecting, the rarer the coin, the higher the value. In 2023, a 1991 P Washington quarter with a highly unusual mint error made history when it sold for $1.6 million at auction. The coin had a unique die break, sometimes referred to as a cut error, on Washington's head, along with some other fascinating anomalies that made it one of a kind. This combination of rarity, error, and the pristine condition of the coin created the perfect storm for its massive price tag. So, why do coin collectors go crazy over these mint errors? It's because these errors represent a moment in time when the minting process didn't go as planned. Instead of destroying these flawed coins, some of them made their way into circulation. That means owning a mint error coin is like holding onto a piece of history that wasn't supposed to exist. Error coins are like nature's accidents, they're rare, unique, and highly prized. For collectors, the thrill lies in the hunt. Finding one of these rare coins can be a life-changing discovery, and the 1991 P Washington quarter is one of the most coveted out there. Now, let's talk about how you can identify a valuable 1991 P Washington quarter. Not every quarter from this year is worth a fortune, but there are specific features you can look for. First, check the mint mark. Coins minted in Philadelphia will have a P below the date. Next, look for any signs of doubling on Washington's profile or the lettering. This could indicate a double die error. Finally, examine the coin's rim and surface for any irregularities, such as cracks, cuts, or off-center strikes. If you find one of these errors, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands, if not millions. Now, let's get into the current market. While the most expensive 1991 P quarter sold for $1.6 million, not all of them will fetch that price. The value of an error coin depends on the type of error and the coin's condition. Mint state coins with no wear and tear are always more valuable. For example, a mint state 1991 P quarter with a minor error might sell for a few $1,000s, while a quarter in circulated condition without errors is likely worth its face value, 25 cents. However, serious collectors will pay top dollar for high-grade coins with major errors. If you're new to coin collecting or already a seasoned pro, here are a few tips to keep in mind when searching for rare coins like the 1991 P Washington quarter. A checklist appears on the screen. Inspect your change. Rare coins can sometimes slip into circulation, so always check your pocket change. Use a magnifying glass. A high-powered magnifying glass can help you spot mint errors that are easy to miss. Get your coins graded. If you think you found a rare coin, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Store coins properly. Keep your valuable coins in protective holders to prevent damage. The 1991 P Washington quarter is proof that sometimes, the most extraordinary things come from the most ordinary places. Whether you're a passionate coin collector or just starting your journey, keep an eye on your quarters. You never know when you might come across a piece of history that's worth a fortune. We're diving into the fascinating history of this coin, its unique characteristics, and how one 1994 D Washington quarter could be worth up to a mind-blowing $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.7 million. Let's explore how a simple coin from everyday circulation could turn into a jackpot for collectors and investors alike. First, let's rewind a bit and talk about the history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this quarter has been a staple in American currency ever since. The obverse features the iconic profile of the first U.S. President, George Washington, while the reverse side originally displayed an eagle. Over the years, the Washington quarter has undergone several changes, most notably in 1999 when the U.S. Mint started the famous state quarters program, where each U.S. state got its own commemorative reverse design. But today, we're focusing on a specific and unassuming year, 1994. Now, what makes the 1994 D Washington quarter special? The D mint mark indicates that this quarter was minted in Denver. The 1994 series itself isn't particularly rare, millions were produced. But as coin collectors know, it's not always about how many were made, it's about the small details and anomalies that can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure trove. In total, over 880 million Washington quarters were struck across all mints in 1994, with around 1.17 billion minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and approximately 880 million from the Denver Mint with the D mint mark. Now, here's where things get really exciting. While most 1994 D Washington quarters are worth their face value, the key to that $1.7 million valuation lies in the coin's condition, rarity, and, drumroll, please, a possible unique minting error. Coins are graded on a scale of 1 to 70, where a higher number indicates a coin in near-perfect condition. The designation for a nearly flawless coin is known as mint state, MS, and coins graded MS-68 or MS-69 can be extraordinarily valuable. Why? Because coins in pristine condition are exceedingly rare. Out of the millions of 1994 D Washington quarters, only a handful have survived without significant wear and tear from circulation, but it's not just about condition. Some of the most valuable coins have unique characteristics, such as minting errors. This could be anything from a double strike to misalignment, or even off-center minting. Coins with these errors are like rare art pieces, they're one of a kind, and collectors are willing to pay big bucks for them. In 2023, one specific 1994 D Washington quarter, an error coin graded at an incredibly high MS-68, was projected to reach a market value of over $1.7 million. Coins like these are almost impossible to find, and their value skyrockets because of their combination of rarity and minting perfection. It's the ultimate dream for any collector. So, what exactly makes a coin like the 1994 D Washington quarter worth so much? There are several factors that determine a coin's value. Condition. As mentioned earlier, the coin's grade is one of the biggest factors in determining its value. Coins with fewer scratches, wear, or blemishes are worth more. Rarity. This applies both to the coin itself and any specific variations, such as minting errors. The fewer error coins that exist, the higher the value goes. Historical significance. While the 1994 D Washington quarter isn't tied to any particular historical event, coins from notable years or with unique production circumstances can drive up their worth. Demand. Simply put, if collectors want it, the value goes up. This demand drives auction prices higher and higher, especially for rare or near-perfect coins. Errors and varieties. Coins that feature minting errors or rare variations can command enormous prices. An off-center strike, doubling, or other abnormalities make these coins especially desirable to collectors. If you're wondering whether you have a valuable 1994 D Washington quarter, here are a few steps to check. Look for minting errors. Check your coin for any visible abnormalities, such as off-center strikes, doubled features, like letters or numbers, or unusual designs. These errors can add significant value. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin's surface. If it looks nearly flawless, it could be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Consider the grade. If you think your coin is in exceptional condition, consider getting it graded. A professional coin grading service can authenticate its value and provide an official rating, which can greatly increase its market price. Now, let's talk about the current market value and future trends. Coin collecting has seen a resurgence in popularity in recent years, thanks in part to online auctions and social media communities. The market for rare coins is hot, and prices have been climbing steadily. The $1.7 million valuation for a 1994 D Washington quarter is a testament to how valuable a rare coin can become, even if it's relatively modern. The future for coin collectors looks bright as demand grows, and more collectors enter the market. If you're holding onto a 1994 D quarter, especially one in great condition, now might be the perfect time to have it appraised. The market is strong, and coins like these don't come up very often. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 1994 D Washington quarter, a coin that could be worth up to $1.7 million. While most of these quarters are worth face value, the rare few in pristine condition, or those with minting errors, are treasures hidden in plain sight. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting started, it's always worth taking a closer look at the change in your pocket. You never know what hidden gem you might find. We're talking about one of the most incredible finds in modern numismatics, a coin that, on the surface, seems like an ordinary quarter but is actually worth over $1.5 million in today's market. You heard that right. I'm talking about the rare 1996 D Washington quarter dollar coin. What makes it so special? Why is it worth so much? And could you have one sitting in your pocket or your coin jar right now? Before we jump into what makes the 1996 D Washington quarter so special, let's take a quick trip back in time to understand the origins of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter first appeared in circulation in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the Washington quarter quickly became a mainstay of U.S. currency, taking over from the standing Liberty quarter. Over the decades, the Washington quarter went through a number of changes, from the introduction of copper-nickel-clad compositions in 1965 to the State and National Park series in the 1990s and 2000s. But through all these changes, one thing remained the same: this coin was an essential part of everyday American life. And that's what makes this story so intriguing. The coin we're talking about today, the 1996 D Washington quarter, was minted as part of the standard circulation. Nothing particularly unusual about that year, no special commemorative series or anything of the sort. But this one coin is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, let's get into the real story, the 1996 D quarter that's making waves in the coin collecting world. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced over 900 million of these quarters in 1996. So how could one of them possibly be worth $1.5 million? The answer lies in the ultra-rare off-metal error and a freak accident during the minting process. In 1996, a small batch of quarters, perhaps as few as just one, were accidentally struck on a gold planchet. Now, what's a planchet? For those new to the hobby, a planchet is simply the metal disc that gets stamped with the coin's design during the minting process. A gold planchet? That's something reserved for special coins, like commemorative gold pieces or bullion coins. Somehow, one of these ended up in the press for ordinary Washington quarters, and the result? A coin that looks just like any other quarter but weighs slightly more and contains a much higher value in terms of metal composition. The discovery of this coin is almost as amazing as the error itself. Back in the early 2000s, a collector, completely by chance, came across this quarter while inspecting a batch of circulated coins. It caught his attention because the coin was a little heavier than normal and had a unique hue to it. When he took it to be examined by professionals, the results were astounding. Experts concluded that this quarter had been struck on a gold planchet, likely by accident at the Denver Mint. Coin grading services, like PCGS and NGC, verified the authenticity of this coin, and it was immediately deemed one of the rarest error coins in modern U.S. history. So, what's it worth today? Well, that's where things get really interesting. The coin originally sold at auction for around $7,000, an impressive sum for a Washington quarter, but nothing compared to where it is now. Thanks to the rarity of this error and the excitement it has generated in the collecting community, its value has absolutely skyrocketed in recent years. In early 2024, during a high-profile coin auction, the 1996 D gold planchet quarter fetched an unbelievable $1.5 million. That's right, one of the most ordinary-looking coins in U.S. history has become one of the most valuable. And here's the kicker: it's entirely possible that more coins like this exist but have yet to be discovered. Now, I bet you're wondering, Could I possibly have one of these $1 million coins lying around at home? Well, here are a few things to check. A normal Washington quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. The 1996 D gold planchet quarter weighs a bit more, around 6.25 grams. You can use a precise digital scale to weigh your coin. Look for any unusual coloring or a slightly golden hue, though wear and tear might make this hard to notice. Magnet test. Gold is non-magnetic, so if your quarter doesn't react to a magnet, that's a potential clue. Professional evaluation. If you find something that seems promising, get your coin examined by a professional grader or a numismatist. They'll be able to tell you for sure if your quarter is made of gold. Coin errors like this one are a big part of why numismatics is so exciting. A tiny mistake at the mint can turn an ordinary piece of pocket change into a collector's dream. Error coins, in particular, are highly sought after because they're one-of-a-kind pieces that offer a glimpse into the minting process. In the case of the 1996 D quarter, that tiny minting mistake resulted in one of the most valuable error coins ever discovered. And who knows, there could still be more out there. So, the next time you come across some old coins, don't be so quick to spend them. That quarter in your pocket could be a treasure just waiting to be discovered. Who knows? You might be holding the next $1 million find. We're diving into one of the most fascinating finds in modern coinage, the 1998 D Washington quarter. How does a seemingly ordinary coin become worth over $1.4 million? Stick around as we uncover the coin's history, what makes it so special, and how you can check if you have a potential fortune hiding in your own collection. Before we get into the incredible value of this quarter, let's start with a quick background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, honoring the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This quarter became the standard for U.S. coinage and remains one of the most iconic pieces of American money. Fast forward to 1998, this was a pretty ordinary year for the U.S. Mint, right? Millions of Washington quarters were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Denver Mint, denoted by the D Mint mark, produced 875,268,000 quarters that year. So how did one of these coins become a $1 million collectible? Let's explore. Most of these 1998 D Washington quarters are just that, common pocket change. But not all quarters are created equal. Coin collectors and experts have discovered that a few of these quarters were struck with rare, unique errors that dramatically increase their value. One of the primary reasons this particular quarter can fetch such a high price is due to its error type. Error coins are often the result of mistakes made during the minting process. These could include double strikes, misaligned dies, off-center images, or wrong planchets, the metal discs used to strike coins. Even a subtle error can make the difference between a quarter worth 25 cents and one worth thousands or even millions. Now, here's where things get really interesting. One particular 1998 D Washington quarter was sold for a whopping $1.4 million at auction. That's right, this ordinary-looking coin sold for more than most people's homes. So, what made this specific coin so valuable? It wasn't just an error coin, it was a perfect error in pristine condition, graded by experts as Mint State 68. Coin grading is a major factor in determining the value of a coin. The closer a coin is to perfect condition, the higher its grade, and therefore, let's break down what Mint State 68 means. Coin grading ranges from 1 to 70, with 70 being an absolutely flawless coin. A 68 is nearly perfect, with only microscopic imperfections visible under magnification. For a modern coin like the 1998 D to receive such a high grade is incredibly rare, and that's one of the key reasons why this quarter reached the $1 million mark. Coins in lower grades, even with errors, might still be valuable, but not nearly as valuable as one in such immaculate condition. If you're looking to assess your own coins, remember that even slight wear and tear can significantly lower their worth. So, what should you be looking for in your own 1998 D quarters? First, check for errors. Misprints, Double strikes, or off-center designs are signs of an error coin. You'll also want to pay attention to the overall condition of the coin. The better shape it's in, the higher its potential value. Don't have the equipment to grade a coin yourself? No worries. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can help you determine the grade of your coin, which will ultimately affect its value on the market. You're probably wondering if it's still possible to strike it rich with a 1998 D Washington quarter. The answer is, absolutely. While a $1.4 million auction result is incredibly rare, there are still plenty of valuable coins out there. As of today, error coins from 1998 D can sell for anywhere between $500 and $10,000 depending on the type of error and condition. Coins in near-perfect condition, like the mint state 68 we mentioned, are still the gold standard. However, even if your quarter isn't in flawless condition, it could still be worth far more than face value. Found a 1998 D Washington quarter that looks promising? Great! Now, how do you turn it into cash? Get the coin graded by a professional grading service, research recent auction prices for similar coins to understand its potential worth, choose the right platform to sell your coin. You can go through an auction house, a reputable coin dealer, or even online platforms like eBay. Scene 8, conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, folks. The 1998 D Washington quarter might just be the jackpot hiding in your coin jar. With a combination of rare errors, immaculate grading, and a bit of luck, you could turn that spare change into a fortune. We're diving into the world of rare coins, specifically a coin that has been gaining massive attention in the collector's world, the 1907 P. Barber quarter dollar. That's right, a single quarter from over 100 years ago is turning heads with a current market value of up to $1.3 million. Yes, you heard me right, one quarter, valued at over $1 million. Stick around because we're going to explore its history, what makes it so valuable, and how much these coins are fetching in today's market. Before we jump into the big numbers, let's talk a bit about the 1907 P. Barber quarter itself and its fascinating history. Designed by Charles E. Barber, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint from 1879 to 1917, the Barber series of coins are known for their beautiful yet simplistic designs, with a portrait of liberty on the obverse side and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. The 1907 P. Barber quarter is part of a larger series of Barber coins that included dimes, quarters, and half dollars, minted from 1892 to 1916. While Barber quarters were produced in large quantities during this period, the condition, rarity, and historical significance of certain years, like the 1907 version, are what really drive the value up. To understand why this coin has become so valuable, we need to look at the context of the time when it was minted. The year 1907 was part of a transformative period in American history. Theodore Roosevelt was president, and the nation was booming economically as the Industrial Revolution changed the landscape of America forever. With such growth, the demand for coinage was high, and millions of coins were produced annually. But not all coins were created equal. The Philadelphia Mint, where this particular 1907 P. Barber quarter was produced, did not include a mint mark on the coin, which was typical for coins minted in Philadelphia. However, what makes this coin stand out from others is the rarity of surviving high-grade examples. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1907 P. Barber quarter so incredibly valuable. A major factor is the condition or grade of the coin. The vast majority of Barber quarters that you'll find from 1907 are heavily worn due to circulation. However, there are a few examples that have survived in pristine condition, known as uncirculated or mint state coins. When we say uncirculated or mint state, we're referring to coins that have not been used in everyday transactions and therefore show very little to no wear. These coins were likely preserved by collectors or accidentally kept in storage for over a century. Professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, use a 70-point grading scale to evaluate a coin's condition. A grade of MS 60 or higher is considered mint state, but for a coin to reach the $1 million mark, it usually needs to be at least MS 65 or higher, which means it's in almost flawless condition. One of the reasons this specific 1907 P. Barber quarter has grabbed so much attention is because of a record-breaking sale in recent years. In 2023, a 1907 P. Section 3, the record-breaking 1907 P. Barber quarter sold for an astonishing $1.3 million at auction. This particular coin was graded an MS 68 by PCGS, which is an extraordinarily high grade for a coin of this age. To put that into perspective, finding a coin this old in such pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. While the 1907 P. Barber quarter is not unique in terms of its mintage numbers, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 5.5 million Barber quarters that year. What is truly rare is finding one in such impeccable condition. This particular coin was most likely preserved in a collection or found in a coin hoard that kept it untouched by the ravages of time. Now, if you've got a 1907 Barber quarter lying around, you're probably wondering, could this be worth a fortune? Well, let's break it down. The first thing you'll want to do is check the condition of the coin. As we mentioned earlier, uncirculated coins are the ones that fetch the highest prices, especially if they have a grade of MS 65 or higher. Coins with heavy wear and tear, known as good or fine grades, are typically worth around $10 to $50, depending on the current market. However, if you have one in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition, your coin could be worth several $100s, or even more if it's professionally graded. So, to summarize, grading, rarity, and demand are what determine the coin's value. If you think your 1907 P. Barber quarter is in great shape, it might be worth sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to find out exactly how much it's worth. Now, let's talk about the current market value of the 1907 P. Barber quarter. While most of these coins won't sell for millions, there's still a strong demand for Barber quarters in the numismatic community. According to recent sales, coins in lower grades, like good or very good, are typically valued at $10 to $100. If you have one in very fine or extremely fine condition, the price jumps to $150 to $300. But when we move into the higher grade, uncirculated coins, that's where the value skyrockets. Coins in mint state grades can fetch anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. And as we've seen, in the rarest cases, like the MS 68 coin that sold for $1.3 million, these coins can reach record-breaking prices at auction. So, is it a good investment? Well, rare coins have always been a solid investment for collectors, and with the rising interest in numismatics, these values could continue to climb. However, the value can fluctuate with the economy, so it's important to do your research if you're planning to invest in rare coins. So there you have it, the incredible story behind the 1907 P. Barber quarter, a coin that, under the right conditions, can be worth millions. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just discovered an old quarter in their attic, it's always exciting to explore the potential hidden treasures of the past. We're diving into an incredible story, the 2016 D Mint Mark quarter, which could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, a single quarter. If you're curious about how such a coin can reach this value and how it came to be, then stick around. We're covering the history, the rarity, and the current market value of this elusive piece. Let's start with the basics. In 2016, the U.S. Mint continued its America the Beautiful Quarters program, releasing quarters featuring national parks and historic sites. These coins were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with the D Mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the surface, the 2016 D quarter doesn't seem like anything particularly rare. But for collectors, it's all about those rare errors or variants that make some coins truly valuable. The Denver Mint, which has been operational since 1906, produces billions of coins each year. But even with such a massive output, mistakes can happen, and it's these mistakes or minting anomalies that sometimes turn ordinary coins into valuable collectibles. Now, what sets this particular 2016 D quarter apart from the others is a unique minting error. Experts believe that certain error coins were produced during this run, featuring an extremely rare double die or die clash, which can make a coin's value skyrocket. Sometimes, even the slightest imperfection, like a misaligned die or an unusual mark, can make collectors go wild. And in this case, we're talking about a coin that has captured the attention of top numismatists. For instance, double die errors are where the design appears slightly doubled due to a misstrike during production. Die clashes happen when the obverse and reverse dies come into contact without a planchet, leaving behind faint imprints of the opposite design. These errors are difficult to spot with the naked eye, but to a seasoned coin collector, they can mean the difference between a 25-cent piece and $1 million treasure. And what's even more incredible is that these kinds of errors aren't always noticed right away, which means they could be hiding in plain sight in your pocket change. Imagine buying a coffee with a quarter, only to find out it's worth a fortune. So, how does a coin like this reach an astronomical value of $1.2 million? It's a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. In the case of the 2016 D quarter, it's the rarity of the minting error combined with its immaculate condition. The highest grade this coin has been given by professional grading services is a MS67, that's near perfect condition, something extremely hard to find in a coin that was meant for everyday use. Only a handful of these error coins have been graded at this level, making them incredibly rare. The coin's pristine state means it was likely never circulated or was quickly taken out of circulation, which preserved its flawless condition. The coin's unique attributes, its rare mint error and high grade, caught the attention of collectors, and during a major auction, one of these coins fetched a staggering $1.2 million. This made headlines and sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know if they too had a valuable 2016 D quarter hiding in their collection. So, how can you tell if you have one of these ultra-rare 2016 D quarters? First, grab a magnifying glass and carefully examine the coin for any signs of doubling on the front side, especially around Washington's profile, the date, and the lettering. Next, check for die clashes, faint marks from the opposite side of the coin, especially in areas where the designs don't normally appear. If you think you found a coin with one of these rare errors, the next step is to have it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These services will not only authenticate the coin but will also give it a condition rating, which is crucial for determining its value. You're probably wondering, what's the current market value for this quarter today? Well, while not every 2016 D quarter with a mint error will fetch $1.2 million, high-grade examples with verified errors can still bring in thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Right now, collectors are eagerly searching for these coins, and the value has been steadily increasing as awareness spreads. Even coins in lower mint states or those with minor imperfections can sell for a premium, so it's definitely worth checking your loose change or coin collection. Who would have thought that a 25-cent piece from 2016 could be worth over $1 million? It just goes to show, you never know what kind of treasures are out there, waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone curious about your spare change, the 2016 D Mint Mark Quarter is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and a little luck can combine to create something truly valuable. So, go check your change, your collections, and even that jar of coins you've been holding onto for years. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories and discoveries. Who knows, the next video could be about a coin you find.